We look at the defense, though. The Patriots pass defense, 9th in the NFL. The Seahawks pass defense, 10th in the NFL. So by every metric, rush, pass, both of these teams are top 10 in these metrics. These are two teams that have defensive head coaches. These are two teams that have played very good defense all year. And this is going to be more of a defensive battle than people like to admit. I think the over-under is around 44 points. That's kind of what the Patriots games have been around this whole playoffs. Those games have gone around or under that every single game. You look at the Patriots last week, it was 10-7. I know that was a blizzard, but the Patriots, Seahawks, I don't think it's going to be as much of an offensive masterclass as people are projecting, especially if we see JSN get locked up or if we see Drake May start to struggle with some turnovers like he did in his first two playoff games. Diving into the more analytics, the more structure, diving into the film of these defenses, let's discuss what these defenses bring and how they're going to look possibly in this matchup. Let's start with the Patriots defense. They play a base 3-4 defense. So when you look at this defense, a lot of the times they will play nickel or they will play dime. They will bring in a lot of defensive backs because their secondary is very deep and they rely on their two interior defensive tackles to kind of make up for the rest of the defensive line. They have Christian Barmore and Milton Williams. They're two stud defensive tackles, and they were really weak at edge. They haven't had Harold Landry. Caleb Von Chaison's been above average, so they rely on guys like Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones in the secondary to cover the deep ends. They play quarters. A lot of the times they'll bring in 5 or 6 defensive backs in their nickel or dime packages, and they like to disguise the formats on defense. They try to get that interior pressure. They try to stop the run and then force teams to pass the ball. They want to make an impact on first down, put you in 2nd and long, 3rd and long, so that they can rely on their deep secondary to play 5 or 6 defensive backs and get you off the field. We've seen them create a lot of different pressures by using different defensive line gap schemes. So you'll go and you'll see a defensive tackle push off the one guard and they'll wrap around and have another nose tackle run it straight at the quarterback. If K9 is not pass blocking well, the Seahawks are cooked. K9 is going to have to read these pass rushes. He's going to have to find the man. And if he has a nose tackle running straight at him through the A-gap, that's not going to look good for them. I think the Patriots are going to do a lot of these schemes, and I think that they might get to Sam Darnold a few times, especially early. The Patriots also, in their secondary, like to run a lot of man-on-man. Again, they have Christian Gonzalez, one of the best corners in the league. He will play one-on-one on Jackson Smith-Njigba, most likely. If he is doing that, likely then you'll have Carlton Davis on either Cooper Kupp or Jake Bobo. For the Seahawks, their advantage, A.J. Barner is going to have to get livid in the passing game. A.J. Barner is going to have a linebacker on him. He might have a defensive back on him. If they get the defensive back on him in a nickel or dime, he is going to have to make those strong contested catches and outwill him with his run after catch and breaking tackles. Also, if they're not playing nickel, they're playing a base defense, A.J. Barner's going to have to run block. A.J. Barner, he's going to be the number one piece on their offense that's going to have to play well. Him and K9 are like two peas in a pod. They're going to have to do multiple things. He's going to have to block well when it's regular base defense, and he's going to have to beat defensive backs physically when they're playing nickel or dime. K9, he's going to have to pass block well, and he's going to have to get these 300-pound dudes to protect Sam Darnold, and he's also going to have to run the ball up the gut efficiently against a very good rush defense. For the Seahawks, their defense is very, very, very good, and Mike Macdonald has been running the same defense. He runs a 3-4 base defense, just like the Patriots, but he runs this very heavily. 87% of the snaps, he runs 4 linemen and a nickel package with 5 defensive backs. That is an extremely high number, but they have so much talent on their defensive ball. They swarm tackle. Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offensive coordinator, likes to run a lot of screen plays. With this Seahawks swarm defense, that is not a good matchup for their screen plays. The Patriots offense is going to need to avoid that because they will all swarm to one side. You see things like a jet sweep, you see a screen pass. The Seahawks are trying to stop that. They're trying to stop these plays in the background. The Patriots offense is going to need to run a lot of mesh concepts to try to avoid this. They're also going to need to let plays develop, which means the Patriots offensive line is going to need to hold up. They're going to have guys like DeMarcus Lawrence coming for Drake May. Will Campbell has really struggled this playoffs, played a little bit better versus Denver. But if Will Campbell cannot hold up his side against either DeMarcus Lawrence, whoever's coming towards him, that is going to be a massive issue for Drake May and the Patriots, and that is going to be Seattle's main key to victory. You look at these two schemes, Gaston, the Patriots defense and how they play, the Seahawks defense and how they're going to come against the Patriots. Which defense do you like better in this matchup?
For me, I'm going to go with Seattle. I think they've beat better teams, and they beat them more convincingly that the Patriots have, and that's not disrespect to them as much as it is. They weren't very good offense. The Texans, new offensive coordinator, he may get fired. Chargers fired their offensive coordinator. Broncos, even when they had Bo Nix, they didn't really win games convincingly on offense. They kind of just lucked out, whereas the 49ers, there was a point this season, they played the Bears. I know I'm biased for this, but they outscored the Bears by a lot. And I just think it's that. And I think the Rams, too, like they beat the Rams in a convincing way, too, even though the score shows differently. I do think Seattle dominated that game. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks.
For the Patriots' key to victory, it's going to be Drake May in the passing game. He's done it with his legs, and I think he's going to continue to be able to do it. Maybe not to that extent of 50 or so rushing yards, but he's got to be able to pass the ball downfield better. The weather has been a major impact these last two games, but he needs to be able to pass the ball down the stripes, get one of those go balls to Kayshon Boutte or Kyle Williams. He's got to be able to pass the ball, throw for over 200 passing yards in this game. For the Seahawks key to victory is JSN production. JSN, Christian Gonzalez. If JSN, like I said, his target share, the highest percentage in the league, JSN is going to need to produce over 60, 70, maybe 80 yards. Sam Darnold needs to be able to throw him the ball in third downs, fourth downs, key situations like that, and JSN has to make those catches. And the last question of them all, Gaston, who is winning the Super Bowl?
I'm taking Sam Darnold every day of the week. He's going to change the narrative around him. He's going to be the first quarterback in the 2018 draft class to win a Super Bowl. He's going to ball out, and he will no longer be known as the guy who saw ghosts. He'll be known as the guy that made the Patriots see ghosts.
For me, I'm going to veer different from you. Just because I'm wearing a Patriots jersey doesn't mean any different. I think the Patriots are going to get the job done. Mike Vrabel is going to win his first Super Bowl as a head coach. Drake May, his first Super Bowl, first of many. And the Patriots, as the underdogs, just like the first dynasty in 2001, they're going to win their first Super Bowl under the Mike Vrabel, Drake May era. If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and drop your Super Bowl prediction takes in the comments. Appreciate you all for watching. We'll see you in the aftermath.